Alright, here's the last in a string of 3, or 5 if you want to count the double header as 2, as well as the partial from before, of battles against Cman. And this is immediately after that aforementioned partial battle number 3. So, we did, however, change up teams, so it's not really an immediate rematch or anything like that. Start off with King, because I want to set up some entry hazards or something, and he starts off with D's Humps. So I set up my Stealth Rock as he Earth Powers, which is pretty much what I expected. But this thing has a Focus Sash. You can see there's a little bit of lag there, so hang out with my Focus Sash, and now I can save him for Death Fodder at least, or maybe come in and do something. I guess he can't really use his other move, but I don't know, it'll be somewhat useful. So here we pull off a double switch, and I figure every time there's a double switch, the person who switches on the next turn is usually the one not at the advantage, so I figure screw it. This thing is like max speed, and I think it's even, no, it's not scarfed at this point. At this point I wished it was, but this thing is like max speed, so I figure screw it. It's going to be a speed tie. I can't see Cman actually running a Scarf Flygon. That's, I don't know, a little bit too standard for him, and so I just go for the Meteor, and it kills it, so cool. I'm still able to hit him with Earthquake or Outrage if I so choose, so I can still, you know, I'm not set up fodder at this point. This thing comes in, and I wish I had my special attack now to hit it with some flamethrower, but I think I actually stay in one time to see like what kind of stuff this Torterra wants to do. You know, that's the thing when you're battling Cman, you never know what his stuff is gonna do. So I go for a flamethrower, and it doesn't do too much. Sets up a Leech Seed, so that doesn't really tell me. Well, I guess it tells me it's not Choice Banded or anything like that, but you know. So not too uncommon of a move on Torterra. So I go out to Falzer because I figure, well, I can hit it with Heat Wave and, you know, be immune to its stab moves. And then he sets up an Amnesia. I'm like, dope. So Heat Wave, and doesn't do too much at all. So that's really a bummer for me. Even though Falzer's fairly strong on special attack, he's still not going to be able to do too much. I think I've fought A180's Torterra is also special defensive, but not quite to this extent. This one has Amnesia, so gotta think of something else to go to. Or no, apparently I'm still gonna stay and try to. I guess I'm trying to get a burn. Maybe that's what I'm trying to do, or something. Anyway, or perhaps just continuing to scout what moves he wants to do. I continue to Heat Wave for whatever reason, and he goes for Body Slam. Okay. So I don't get a Parahacks, which is good, because that would suck. And Falzer does have Roost, but I don't really want to use Roost right here as, you know, potential Earthquake coming on. I can maybe get it off once, but, you know, he'll probably start predicting it eventually. So I think about who to go to, and I decide, this thing is going to be a big pain in my tail if it's allowed to use all those setup moves and stuff. Let's go to King. So this is a different King. Obviously, I'm using 2 this fight, but this is a Slow King, obviously. And I think this is just a fluke Slow King that I actually bred. It was not the one I originally intended, but it's got choice specs, so I do some trick specs. I see Leech Seeds, and I'm like, yes, that thing is now like crippled for the rest of the fight. So I've also got some leftovers, which is pretty nice, because this thing doesn't really have a way to recover its HP. I've been thinking about putting Slack Off on it, although I guess I really can't now, since Slow King, it's kind of too late for that. We double switch, and I sort of get the upper hand, I guess. I go to Falzer. However, I know that this thing from a previous fight has a Custat Berry, and so I'm trying to think, okay, how can I switch around to get around that? So first and foremost, I want to Roost. I don't know if he predicts that yet or not. He doesn't. He goes for Fire Fang. And he gets some Burn Hacks, which is a little bit lame, but oh, I have a Lumberry. So that's kind of nice. It wouldn't have done too much. It would have just been residual damage, but still would have been annoying. So anyway, I know once I knock that thing into critical, it's gonna have, or you know, to 1/4, it's gonna have the Custat Berry ready to hit me with. So I could have stayed in and gone for Hidden Power Water, but yeah, I'll go to Starmie and maybe try to kill it with Surf. I don't know. It sure would be nice if I could kill it in one hit, although I think I ran a calc and I wasn't prepared. So he also uses Endure, which I forgot about, so okay. Although honestly, you know, with the Custat Berry, I guess it helps with the unpredictability, but you know, it would have been the same result as if he had just hit me there and then died, so I don't know. Unfortunately for him, I'm not about to, you know, be predicted by it, and I switched out hoping the cuss stat berry would activate, and it doesn't activate if the opponent switches, so that was good to find out. A little bit too late on that one as I lost a good bit of Gyroman's health there, but oh well. So now I figure, okay, great, now I've got to go to someone who can, you know, take it. So I go out back to Falzer, and he continues to Seed Bomb, which at least Falzer does resist. So I figure, okay, hopefully I can live this hit, and he just goes for Fire Fang, so that's nice. I guess he couldn't have really Earthquaked if I had roosted second, so that's good. Now the cuss stat berry is gone, and I can finish that thing off with the hidden power of choice, so thank goodness that thing is finally dead. I switched like twice trying to screw over cuss stat berry and still couldn't do it. So yeah, cuss stat berry is fairly underrated on some stuff. In general, Salak is better, but you know, cuss stat, it does have its uses, I guess. Here in comes this thing, Overkill. It's a Flame Orb Machamp, I think. So I don't really want to stay in there and get confused or whatever, as not when I've got this thing that's a fairly solid counter to Machamp, except he just goes straight for the payback, and unfortunately that thing is not really EV'd in the defenses and can't really, you know, take a payback that well. So, oh well, lost that thing for, well, not for nothing. I mean, he did disable the Torterra, which ends up being huge later on, so he did his job. And think about who to go to here. I want to think he has Bullet Punch, so going to King for some Death Fodder, or there's no reason to go to Death Fodder right now. That's not going to be a good option. And I think about it for a while, apparently. Since I just, you know, obviously it's got Guts and it's got a Bullet Punch, so not to mention its other plethora of damaging attacks. So something's got to come in and deal a heavy hit to it, and maybe it'll die from burn or something. But I end up going just right back to Falzer, as I guess nothing else was really capable of taking the hits too well. And I roost just to see what he wants to do and how much it's going to do. And it does a fairly good chunk. I guess I was also sort of burn stalling there for a little bit more damage, but it looks like another roost is not really going to be that effective, and plus he might switch over to the Dynamic Punch or something. Or I guess he wouldn't do Dynamic Punch, it's got Guts. But you know, Cross Chop or whatever, since after roost it's going to be neutral. So I just go for a T-Bolt to get some damage on there, and hopefully this thing will die after a turn or two. Payback, and obviously that's going to kill me. And let's see, with that burn, I think he's only got one turn left, so this might be a good time to send in some Death Fodder, at least, and you know, I can do something. So who wants to come in and take this hit? And it's going to be Starman, as I resist the Bullet Punch, obviously. It's going to hurt a little bit, but with the resist, it's not going to deal too much to me, and it doesn't do that much at all. I go ahead and go for the Ice Beam, just because anything would have killed it at that hit points. And that thing is down, so that's good. It didn't do as much as I thought to me. In comes this thing, which I run a damage calc on, and I think it's probably going to live with just a Sliver, but who knows, it might have a flawed defense EV or IV or something. And I'm just going to go and go for the Surf. I want some damage on there. I mean, the Stealth Rock helped, yes, but I think it's going to do like 74% or some crap. And sure enough, it does, like, not enough. And I get killed by a Bug Buzz crit, which doesn't matter, likely. And then his Life Orb takes him down. So, okay, at least both things got killed. So, cool. Free drop coming on, and this is a pretty good chance to bring in, I think, Buster-G. Yeah. So, good old Buster-G. I think this is my last guy. I want to think this is my last guy. And I go for the Blaze Kick on this thing, as I'm hoping it's not too bulky on the physical side, since it's, you know, bulky on the special side. And critical hit, don't know if I needed it or not. It's entirely possible, but I'm hoping not. That's what Blaze Kick does anyway, so it's got a high crit chance. Go for the Close Combat, and Earth Power, yay for Sash. And Close Combat again for the win, and that's going to be a good game, Cman. I'm not sure if this is my last guy. I want to think it was. I guess we'll see in a second, but anyway, I got another critical hit. And yeah, finally gonna have some other matches against people. Oh no, I had 3 guys left. So other matches against other people coming on, including one super special one for number 25. So make sure to stay tuned for that in later days.